Honestly, Marion, you're being dramatic. Alan's words echoed, a casual dismissal in our sun-drenched Victorian kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the lace curtains, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air, a perfect scene, shattered by his indifference. My stomach dropped. It was Christmas morning at my mother-in-law Aliner's lavish home. The scent of pine needles and gingerbread hung heavy, but my hands trembled as I watched Grace open her gifts. Aliner scoffed, "Darling, you look exhausted, perhaps you need another nap." Inside, I was screaming. Outside, I remained composed. But then, a small victory. An email pinged on my phone. The gallery loved my latest exhibition proposal. Maybe, just maybe, things were about to change. Ever felt invisible, undervalued? Hit like and subscribe because Marion's about to turn the tables in a way you won't believe. Trust us, this is where it gets really good. The rejection went back further than Alan realized. It began long before our marriage, etched in childhood experiences. 1992, Aliner, a formidable woman with an iron will, always favored her son. While Alan received the newest video game console, I received a practical sewing kit. The gift was a symbolic contrast, a stark reminder of our places. "Boys need entertainment, dear," Aliner declared, her voice dripping with condescension. The sting of that moment still lingered, a faint metallic taste on my tongue. Years later, in 2005, Alan landed a coveted internship at a prestigious law firm, a springboard to his career. I poured my heart into applying for a summer fellowship at a renowned art conservation program. Aliner, always eager to tout Alan's success, dismissed my artistic ambitions. "Law is a real career, Marion," she said, patting Alan's hand. "Art is a hobby." The rejection cut deep, a silent acknowledgement of my perceived inferiority. The final straw was Grace's 6th birthday, just months before everything unraveled. Alan, at Aliner's urging, booked a lavish party at a fancy venue without consulting me. I had envisioned a simple, heartfelt gathering at home. When I voiced my disappointment, Alan scoffed, "Marion, you're being difficult. Aliner knows what's best." The words were a slap in the face. The erasure of my voice, my preferences, was complete. It was in that moment, amidst the forced smiles and glittering decorations, that I truly began to suspect that our life together was a charade. The art world embraced me, unknowingly fueling my quiet rebellion. My exhibitions garnered critical acclaim, collectors clamored for my pieces. Each sale, each review was a brick in the fortress I was building, a fortress of independence and self-worth. No longer defined by their dismissals, no longer shadowed by their expectations, no longer stifled by their judgment. Life after the move to the rental was, for a time, a grayscale existence. The tiny apartment, with its peeling wallpaper and musty odor, was a stark contrast to the grand Victorian. The constant hum of the refrigerator, the thin walls that amplified every neighborly disagreement, the echoing silence of a home missing laughter, it all pressed in, a constant reminder of what I had lost. But Grace, with her unwavering spirit, was my anchor. A year later, my gallery hosted a solo exhibition, a retrospective of my journey. The opening night buzz, the clinking of champagne glasses, the murmur of admiring voices, it was a symphony of validation. Art Forum called me a visionary artist, reclaiming her narrative with breathtaking vulnerability. I saw Aliner and Alan standing awkwardly near the entrance, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. The knowledge of my success, carefully concealed, hit them like a tidal wave. Then I bought a building, transforming it into a community arts center. No dependence, no permission, no apology. Grace watched, her eyes wide with pride. I never told them about it. The news would trickle down eventually, filtered through the gossiping grapevine of our old life. The grand opening, a vibrant explosion of creativity, was a defiant act of self-affirmation. The potential revelation hung in the air, thick with unspoken tension. They still didn't get it, they still hadn't seen the strength they inadvertently forged. My silence remained strategic, a shield and a sword. A text popped up. "Grandma Aliner in hospital, heart attack. Everyone at her house tonight." Relief washed over me, followed by cold calculation. They need me now. I found a dress, emerald green, that enhanced the newfound steel in my gaze. The rental's threadbare couch suddenly felt like a throne. With steady hands, I braided Grace's hair, whispering, "Be strong, my love." The house was a cacophony of grief and simmering resentment. Alan rushed to greet us. a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. Alina, pale and weak in the hospital bed wheeled into the living room, fixed me with a venomous stare. Marian finally decided to grace us with your presence. My brother, David, a man I hadn't spoken to in years due to Alan's manipulations, looked at me bewildered. Marian, is that really you? He hadn't seen me since before the trial, before I disappeared. He remembered the timid woman, not the artist I had become. I smiled, a practiced, polished smile. David, it's been too long. The room was filled with relatives, a sea of worried faces and hushed whispers. They saw a devoted daughter-in-law returned in their hour of need. They didn't see the artist, the survivor, the woman who had rebuilt her life from ashes. Let them think what they want. The game has only begun. Alina, I said, my voice calm and controlled, cutting through the stifled sobs, how are you feeling? Her eyes narrowed, a spark of the old fire igniting within their depths. Don't you dare patronize me, Marian. You think you've won, don't you? I tilted my head, feigning confusion. I'm simply here to offer my support. What else would I do? Alan shifted nervously, his eyes darting between Alina and me. David stared, confusion etched on his face. Alina coughed, a harsh, rattling sound. You know exactly what I'm talking about, your art, your success. The moment had arrived, time to shatter their delusions. Success, I echoed, my voice laced with mock surprise. Oh, you mean the Community Arts Center, I almost forgot to mention it. A collective gasp filled the room. I pulled out my phone, casually scrolling through images. It's been quite the project. We offer free classes to underprivileged children, host exhibitions for emerging artists. I paused, selecting a photo of Grace proudly displaying her pottery. Grace loves it, she's quite the budding sculptor, you know. Alina's face contorted in disbelief. Alan's jaw slackened. David stepped forward, his eyes filled with dawning comprehension. An arts center? You built an arts center. I smiled, a genuine, unburdened smile. Yes, funded entirely by my own earnings, I might add. The words hung in the air, a stark contrast to the years of dismissals and belittlement. The room was silent. They had expected me to crumble, to disappear into the shadows of their scorn. Instead, I had risen, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. The power had shifted. The hunter had become the hunted. But how? Alan stammered, his voice barely a whisper. The years of subtle dominance were crumbling. The galleries paid well, Alan. My art speaks for itself. I kept my tone light, almost dismissive as though discussing the weather. Let him choke on those words. Alina's frail hand gripped the bedsheet. This is about revenge, isn't it? All of it. I met her gaze, unwavering. Revenge implies intent. I merely pursued my passion. If that happens to inconvenience you, well, I let the sentence hang, a silent indictment. You laughed then, you're not laughing now, are you? I turned to David. It's good to see you again, truly. I hope you are well. Alan stepped closer, a desperate plea in his eyes. Marian, please, we need to talk about everything, about Grace. I raised a hand, silencing him. There is nothing to discuss, Alan. As for Grace, her well-being is my sole concern, and that includes protecting her from toxic influences. Alina interjected, don't you dare speak to your father that way. You owe us everything. I laughed, a short, sharp sound that echoed in the tense silence. I owe you nothing. You tried to take everything from me. Consider this payback for past debts. I paused, letting the full weight of my words sink in. Now, if you'll excuse us, Grace and I have a life to get back to. I glanced at Grace, who stood quietly beside me, her small hand clasped tightly in mine. One more thing, I said, turning back to Alan. I won't ask for a dime. I want nothing from you. Enjoy your life. As we walked out of the house, I could feel their stunned gazes following us. They thought they could control me. They thought they could break me. Did you really think I would leave my daughter exposed? I asked, turning back at the doorway, calm despite the turmoil within. Their bewildered expressions confirmed their oversight. You see, the Arts Center isn't just about art, it is the means to an end. I calmly explained. It is a registered non-profit. The corporation owns this house now. Silence descended, heavier than before. Legal shock rippled through the room. Alina's face contorted, a mask of rage and dawning horror. You can't. This is our family home. It belongs to Alan. I raised an eyebrow. Technically, it belonged to you, Alina, and you signed it over to the Burlington Community Arts Initiative a month ago. I paused, allowing the information to land. A condition of my forgiveness was that I'd be given the opportunity to provide more services to the community. You were so desperate to keep your legacy that you didn't read the fine print. Alan's eyes widened, realization dawning. You manipulated her, you got her to sign over the house. I simply presented an opportunity, I said, shrugging. Eleanor was free to refuse. My voice remained even devoid of emotion. The house now serves as collateral for our programs. It funds scholarships, art supplies, and community outreach. David, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. But where will you live? What about your family? I smiled, a small, knowing smile. That, David, is none of your concern, but I am sure you will be just fine. I don't know what is going on, Eleanor cried, her voice cracking with disbelief. I leaned in close, my voice a whisper. What you do not know is that my nonprofit will be taking care of you now. It is in the best interest of the community to ensure the safety of the person who tried to kill me, after all. The organization may even choose who visits you. The finality of my words hung in the air, a testament to my power. Eleanor was trapped, not just by her illness, but by my careful planning. The house, their legacy, their sanctuary, was now a funding source for the very people they had dismissed and disregarded for years. A cruel twist of fate, orchestrated with quiet precision. Years passed. Eleanor, ironically, received excellent care courtesy of the Arts Center. Alan, mired in legal battles and community scorn, made sporadic attempts to contact Grace, requests Marian steadfastly denied. David reached out, genuine remorse in his voice, but Marian maintained a polite distance, wary of rekindling old wounds. The rental became a distant memory. Marian purchased a sun-drenched loft overlooking Lake Champlain, its walls adorned with her vibrant canvases, Grace's sculptures nestled amongst them. Her art flourished, exploring themes of resilience and female empowerment, resonating with a global audience. Looking back, Marian realized the deepest satisfaction stemmed not from revenge, but from self-discovery. She had transformed betrayal into a catalyst for growth, emerging stronger, more authentic, and utterly free. The scars remained, a reminder of the past, but they no longer defined her. External validation had lost its allure, true worth resided within. Marian understood that true power lies not in domination, but in the quiet resilience of the soul. Ready to paint your masterpiece? Share this tale of triumph, then find your canvas. Success, not revenge, is the ultimate art. Go create it.